This is probably the cleanest underwater swim I've ever done. 25 meters, only 3 arm strokes, no wetsuit, no weights. In this video, I'll break down exactly how I did it, what you can learn from it, and how to start building up your own underwater swimming technique. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gert Leroy. I'm a freediving instructor and coach, a former national record holder, and on this channel I have helped thousands hold their breath longer, and today we're gonna break down the technique on how to swim 25 meters underwater without a wetsuit and without weights. Let's walk you through the whole dive. So first of all, big disclaimer, never do this alone, always dive with a buddy who is able to rescue you in case something goes wrong. So where is my buddy here? My buddy is on the side of the pool. And she is also the camera woman, so she is filming me while I'm underwater, and she is walking along with me on the side of the pool. Now you might ask yourself, how can she film you underwater when she is above the water? Well, she's simply holding the GoPro underwater. Another thing to keep in mind here, and the title of this video already says it, so I'm swimming here without weights and without wetsuit. Without wetsuit, pretty obvious, you don't see a wetsuit. Weights may be less obvious. I am not using any weights on my middle section. I have no weight belt and I also have no neck weights. So why am I doing this? Because if you want to learn how to swim underwater no fins, the best way to do this is without fins and without weights. I know that you guys want to make it more easy by using weights, right? And maybe you're asking yourself, how can I stay underwater without weights? Well, you have to learn the perfect technique. So if you swim without weights, yes, you will float back up more easily, but you can compensate this with the perfect swimming technique. And that is what this video is about. What technique are we going to use, right, to stay underwater? So if you use weights, it will be easier. If you don't use weights, it will be more difficult. And that's exactly the whole idea of training. Training should make it more difficult so you can learn something from it. And when you're able to swim underwater without a wetsuit and without weights, then you will have the perfect technique, or near to perfect, because it's never perfect. And guess what? If then you will use weights, it will be so much easier. And why aren't we using a wetsuit? Because if you swim without a wetsuit, then you feel the water on your body better. And because you feel the water, you will get more feedback from the water. And when you get feedback from the water, you will figure out by yourself better on how to swim and get the maximum propulsion, the maximum glides. So as a beginner, using weights and using a wetsuit will actually hold you back. So don't do that. All right, let's start from the beginning. So what am I doing here? I am breathing up. If you see my previous videos, you know that the breathe up is nothing more than just tidal breathing, normal light breathing through the nose. If you are wearing a mask, then you're going to have to do it through your mouth. You could, however, put your mask on your forehead and just breathe through your nose, and a couple of seconds, 10-20 seconds before you go down, you could put the mask on your face. Here, I'm breathing through my mouth, tidal breathing through the mouth, and then when it's time to go down, I take a final breath, but I'm not going to take a 100% final breath, because if my lungs are full of air without weights, it will be more difficult. So in this particular case, without weights, I'm going to breathe in more or less 60 to 70%, so a little bit more than half lungs. And then when you take that final breath, which I'm doing actually right here before I go down, so I give the signal here to my safety buddy, we are good to go. I take that final breath actually right before I push myself up, so I'm jumping up a little bit because I want to go down. Look how I'm jumping up. Why am I doing this? Because now I want to go down. Hopefully the camera woman, yes, she follows me perfectly. Great job, by the way, from the camera woman. So because I want to come in this position here, this is the position we push ourselves off from the wall. So let me show that again. So I'm resting with my back against the wall. I'm jumping up a little bit. While I'm jumping up, I take that sip of air. No need for a full final breath. It's only 60-70%. You see my mouth is open. Then I'm going down because I'm jumping up. The momentum is taking me down. I'm horizontally, and from this position, both feet somewhere in the middle of the wall. And from here, you push yourself off. So after the final breath, the first thing you're going to do is push yourself off. And this is where many beginners make a mistake already. They don't push themselves off efficiently enough. So with a good push off, you already cover maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, if not 10 meters. That's a lot. So if you want to swim 25 meters underwater, You better push yourself off in the most efficient way possible. I'm stretching my whole body. I'm stretching those shoulders, arms in front of me, and I'm looking down. So I'm not looking in front of me where I'm going. I'm looking straight down in an angle of 90 degrees. And look at my feet. I try to point them. Now, I don't have the most flexible feet. Some people, like especially women are better in this, right? Ballerinas, they can really point their feet so their feet become in the same line. The feet are aligned with the legs. I can't do this. I'm too stiff in my ankles. But still, I'm making an effort to point my feet as much as I can because it streamlines you better, you know? So if your feet are not pointed, you're going to create a lot of drag with your feet. The more they are pointed, the less drag you are creating. So we are gliding, 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 gliding. And when you almost come to a standstill, just before you come to that standstill, you are going to initiate the arm stroke. So after the push-off, we start with the arm stroke. Look at my arms. So they are together here, and then they open up. And when they're about like 30 degrees open, I'm gonna bend my elbows. Do you see my elbows? They are bent a little bit because I'm scooping water better this way. So you don't want to keep your arms straight the whole time. Somewhere around here, you initiate a little bend in the elbows. It's just easier to scoop water. And look at my hands. Look at my hands are orientated. So we scoop water with the palms of our hands until, look at the elbows now, there is a little bend in the elbows. So you squeeze your shoulder blades. Look at the shoulder blades. They are together. This is how you put the most amount of force and you are the most efficient. And then when you're next to your body, somewhere here, from this position, you bring your arms next to your body, like this. And then the second phase of the arm stroke is a triceps extension. So from here, triceps extension. So if you go to the gym and you know how to train your triceps, this is a triceps extension. So we have two movements from here. This is the first movement, then bring together. And this is the second movement. And then we glide again. We glide again. Glide, 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 glide. And when you almost come to a standstill, just before, you're going to bring your arms in front of your chest and face like this. So this is the recovery phase, I guess they call it. So from here, it's like reading a book. So the palms of your hands are facing your face. So you're like almost reading a book, the Bible. You're reading the Bible in front of you. And from here you extend your arms again in front of you. When your arms are somewhere here in front of your face, you start bringing your heels towards your butt. You bring your heels towards your butt. Look at my knees. They're pretty much still closed, right? So I'm not opening my knees yet. So my knees they're not touching each other, but they are not far apart from each other. So they're still pretty close. And when your heels are almost touching your butt, and I say almost because I never touch your butt, and it also depends heavily on your flexibility, of course. So you have to work on flexibility. When they are the closest to your butts, then you're going to externally rotate your feet. Look at my feet now. Look at the difference between my feet here and my feet here. Here they are externally rotated because you want to push yourself off against the water with the insides of your feet. Yes, with the inside of your feet, you're pushing yourself off. We are scooping the water with the inside of the feet, pushing themselves off, and then we end the movement somewhere here. From here, you bring the legs back together. That is the first movement, arms and legs. Let's go over this from here. And arms. And then the recovery phase, bring together, legs. And again, glides. And then we do the second movement, which is the same. Triceps extension. Glide. So you always want to make use of the glides, because when you glide, you are not moving. And when you're not moving, you can hold your breath longer. So it's a kind of a reset. So if you swim continuously, you don't have a reset. You can really relax. But in no fins, we have a reset. This is the reset, this position, and this position. So we have two glides. You glide here, where you can kind of catch your breath, right? It's not the right expression because you're not catching your breath, you're holding your breath. But you can relax a bit more within that breath hold when you glide. And then here again, push off from the legs and glide, 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 glides. So we are at 2 arm strokes already. And this is a third one. And now I have to do one more leg kick because I'm not reaching the end of the pool yet. So the title of this video says 3 arm strokes. That is true, but I do have to make an additional leg kick here to reach the end of the pool. 4 recovery breaths, always do this, even if it doesn't feel difficult, even if you thought this was easy, always do recovery breaths and then signal to your body. Take off your mask and signal to your body, I am okay. If you want to get freedive ready and train your breath hold at home, then join the Underwater Squad, school.com/underwater squad. You'll get access to our full breath hold training system, live sessions, and a worldwide community. Click the link in the description, school.com/underwater squad. And if you want to see another video where I break down the DNF technique, dynamic no fins technique, then watch this video here. Peace in every breath.